Hey, what's up, everybody? Jason Brown here, stock market coach and option trader. And first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you if you are watching this live or watching the replay on the YouTubes. Let me know, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment below. Like, Jay Brown, I'm back, I'm here, I'm with you. So what I want to unpack today is whose job is it to get rich? I want to talk about the mindset of being blessed and the mindset of being rich or wealthy. And this whole conversation or talk stems from going to church this past Sunday. Now, I do want to put out there a disclaimer, this is not going to be a sermon, so to speak. But I do want to reference some things that we learned from church, but also want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not a saint or angel or a professional on the Bible. So if I make any mistakes or misquote any Bible verses, I don't want y'all throwing your Bible book at me saying that was John 3:13. How you messed that one up? Just show a brother some grace. Okay. But we were in church, and in church they were talking about the term #bless. And we were breaking down, when I say we, I mean the pastor, the congregation. And we're breaking down, what does it mean to be blessed? If you go online, you go on Instagram and everyone's like #blessed, right? And if you look at the picture of blessed, it's somebody standing in front of a car, it's someone on their dream vacation, right? It's someone purchasing their brand new home. Normally it's material things, and it's like #blessed. And it led us down this discussion, not just about #blessed and like what is blessed, which I want to kind of unpack that a little bit, but then also want to dive into some of the other cliches that you hear, like everything happens for a reason, or faith without works is dead, or God won't put more on you than you can bear. And you may be thinking like, what in the world does any of this have to do with the stock market? Well, again, this is the Money Markets and Mindset podcast. And I think a big part of whether you're going to be successful or not in the stock market or in a lot of things in life depends on your mindset and how you see things and how you also react to things when things good or bad happen to you in your life. And so we were unpacking this whole thing about being #blessed and saying, like, if one person gets their dream car, two people prayed for their dream car and one person gets it, is one person blessed, #blessed, and the other not? Or if you think about it in the stock market, if one person is praying that a stock goes up and another person is praying that a stock goes down and the stock goes up, is the person who was praying that the stock goes down not #blessed? And it really made me think about something that I said way back before, at least something that I heard, and I repeated it several times, is that God is neutral on the trade. He's neutral on the stock market, right? You got one person hoping to go up, that's praying to him. One person hoping it goes down. Both of them is God's children. God like, hey, leave me out of this. And what the church talked about was that no matter what happens, if there's a sickness or an illness and two people pray and one person receives full revitalization from the illness and one person doesn't, they talked about God's promise was that regardless of the outcome is that he would be with you. It's not like God's just sitting up there shooting barrel in the fish or fish in the barrel and just saying like, I'm going to bless him today. I'm going to bless her. Oh, that person. Nah, I'm not going to bless them today. And so they were talking about how people misuse or overuse the word blessed and how it can seem like when people say they were blessed because of certain situation, it would almost appear as if the person who didn't get what they wanted is not blessed, but it's actually cursed. Does that make sense? So what does that have to do with the stock market? Well, number one, if God is, and if we believe that God is neutral, he's not just picking sides, he's not just picking people to be blessed or not blessed, then the real question is, whose job is it for you to get wealthy? Whose job is it for you to get rich? If that's what your heart desires, if that's what you choose to do, whose job is it for you to get financially independent? And is praying alone or just hoping that your savior is going to get you wealthy, is that enough? And if the creator can do all things, why wouldn't he just wave the magic wand and say, sure, that's what you asked for. So let's just rain down the blessings on you. Right. And so the question becomes, whose job is it to move the ball forward towards your goals? And then no matter if you get there or not, your savior or your creator is there with you regardless if you get there. So they're there, he's there, he or she is there with you in the wins, and they're there with you in the losses. And so as we unpack what does it mean to be blessed, I would just say, wouldn't it make sense that the more tools that you give the creator to work with, the better the opportunity for you to be blessed from a getting the result that you want? Because whether you get the result or you don't, your creator is technically with you. At least that's what they were teaching us in church, right? Like in your pain and suffering, your creator was with you. And when you got the promotion, the car, the job, the house, the creator was with you. So you were blessed because you had someone there to carry you during your down times. And you were blessed that the creator was with you during your up times and keeping you healthy or whatever the case may be. And so I want you to think about, what tools am I, if you believe in a God or the God, if you don't, then, I understand that too. Maybe you believe in the universe, whatever the case may be. What tools are you giving the world, the universe, your God, to have the opportunity to bless you, or should I say be with you as you journey towards financial independence, journey towards wealth, journey towards the dream car, the dream house, the dream vacation? Does that make sense? And so when I say what tools are you giving them, and you take inventory of what you're working with, you have to kind of look and say, okay, I want to live in this house, that car. I want to give to my churches, my charity, my community. I want to bring my husband home or wife home and be a stay-at-home parent, but also still be able to afford the current lifestyle that we have, whatever the case may be. And so when you ask yourself that question and you say, what tools do I have? You probably would agree that, or at least if you're listeners or you follow me, that the stock market should be one of those tools. And so the question might become, why aren't you moving forward with either the education, the study, and the learning to put yourself in a position that if you're going to be blessed, whether you have it or not, to put yourself in a position where you and your creator has more tools to kind of help move you towards the physical abundance side of the blessing versus the side of the blessing where you don't get technically what your heart might desire, but doesn't mean that you're still not blessed. I guess what I'm trying to really say is unpack is that if you're blessed either way, then the common denominator sometimes is not your God or your creator. The common denominator is the information that the other person has that you don't have. And then if you both have the same information, sometimes the common denominator is the application of that knowledge and that information. That's really what I'm trying to unpack and get to, and that you're both blessed, but maybe one person had information that the other one didn't have. And then if you both had the same information, maybe one applied it a little bit differently. Because I see this in the stock market all the time, where it's like two people take the same course, but one person doesn't follow any of the rules in the course. And then one person follows every rule in the course. They set a stop loss. They set an I'm wrong level. They get out at their profit taking level. They don't be greedy. And so is one person hashtag blessed and one person hashtag curse? Not necessarily, but they're both. But the common denominator is the knowledge and then the application of the knowledge. And then, like I said, God is neutral. He's not picking one, you over this person to be successful or not. It's more about the skills, the discipline, and the application of the knowledge. Now, there's another saying that they talked about was that everything happens for a reason, right? And so like if something bad happens to you, it's like maybe God wanted to get your attention. Then if something good's happened to you, it's like, you've been faithful, you've been down for so long. The Lord is finally showing you favor. And the church was kind of talking about how like it's all in the perception of the person going through the event, because God is blessing and with you no matter what. And so like if a drunk driver, you see this all the time. And unfortunately, if you've been through this, I hope this isn't a traumatic experience, me bringing this up, but you see sometimes in the news where you're like, a drunk driver got behind the wheel of a car and then like killed someone. The drunk driver walked away without even a scratch. But the innocent people, the family of three, good family, good people, just married, everyone passed away from the accident where the drunk driver walked away without a scratch. And you're like, what just happened? Are they blessed? Is the drunk driver blessed and the family of three that never did anything wrong cursed? Or but alternatively, did everything happen for a reason? Was there a reason that those people died and the drunk person walked away? And, was God trying to get somebody's attention? It's a very interesting discussion from the standpoint of, everything happens for a reason. So it's like, yeah, well, the reason was that person got behind the wheel drunk. Like that was the reason. But when you think about that in the stock market, or if you live by everything happens for a reason, Church was talking about how sometimes that saying makes it seem like God used pain and suffering. Like, I'm going to make someone get into an accident and kill them so that we can bring attention to this. I guess if everything technically happens for a reason, when you look at the stock market, it's like, what's the reason you're being brought this information? Like, what's the reason that you came across this podcast, came across our course, our program? What is the reason? And so if there is an underlying reason, it's kind of like the person that got behind the wheel drunk is, I guess what I'm trying to unpack, and this is a tough conversation. Not tough, but it's tough because I'm mixing God in with it, which is, unusual, a little bit unusual for us. But what I'm trying to say is, when a drunk driver got behind the wheel and had an accident, right? This is dark. We got to lighten it up. But those things happen. But when that happened, the reason is because someone drove drunk. Like, that is a potential consequence of someone driving drunk, that you can hurt someone and kill someone. So what I'm saying, all right, I'm here. Stick with me. Here it comes. What I'm saying is, when you think about that in terms of the stock market, there's like this cause and effect, and there's this opportunity for positive things to happen to you if you take positive actions. It has nothing to do with really God. That's just something that can happen if someone drinks and drives. Not that the married couple was bad or the drunk driver was good or anything like that. Quite the opposite, if that's what just happened. But if you do, there's logical things that have logical outcomes, is what I'm trying to share with you. So when you're thinking about, why am I not #blessed? Why don't I have my car? Why don't I have my house? Why can I retire my spouse? Why don't I have debt? Why don't I have an abundance of finances? There's logical steps that say, okay, if I had my money working for me, I can have my money work an additional 8 hours or 24 hours. Like, if you work 24 hours and your money work 24 hours, that's a way for you to have 48 hours of working time, because we all can't duplicate ourselves, but we can either duplicate our money, or our money, once duplicated, can duplicate our efforts. In fact, our money can outwork us, actually, right? And so there's logical steps that can lead to logical outcomes, right? Learning the stock market is a logical step. And then if you put money in the stock market, if you take a course, learn the stock market, follow the rules, or follow the game plan, there is a logical outcome that is more likely to happen. Now, notice I didn't say guaranteed to happen. There's a logical outcome that's more likely to happen if you get the education and if you follow the steps. And so, yeah, everything does happen for a reason, right? Because if you take the steps of learning it, you take the steps of practicing it, then you take the discipline of, buying low, selling high, buying that support, getting out that resistance, all the things that we teach. Then the next logical step is for you to reap the abundance, that hashtag blessed lifestyle and the fruit of that labor. But it's not that the other person isn't hashtag black. It's just you learned something they didn't learn. You took some steps that they didn't take and you applied it, how they didn't apply it, perhaps. Right. And so I want you thinking about that as you think about your life, no matter where you're at right now, especially as we start to come up on the new year, everyone starts to think about their finances. How can they do better? How can they make more money? How can they have a better year next year than they did this year? And not just money, but their health and all that good stuff. But right now we're just talking about money and finances. And part of that is making sure you're taking the everything happens for a reason logical steps to say that is the next logical thing to happen, is for my money to work for me to learn how it works, to practice it and apply it. Then and only then can I logically expect a positive outcome. The same way if you do something negative like drink and drive, it's not a guarantee you're going to run into somebody, but that is a logical outcome that can happen, as you can run into someone and kill someone. The same way that there's no guarantee you'll make money in the stock market. It could still go against you, but it's more likely that you can blow up your account and blow up your money if you don't have the training, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the information, or even worse, you just don't even get in the game at all. And you're always sitting on the sidelines thinking that somebody else is more blessed than you, thinking someone else is more fortunate than you, but you actually don't know what they went through, what they've been through, what they've learned, what they've applied. You don't know any of that. You're just looking from the outside in saying, how come I'm not blessed? Or how come the creator just doesn't pick me? Again, like he's just shooting fish in the barrel, like blessing, no blessing for you. It doesn't work like that. Kind of goes back to what I said. What kind of tools are you giving your creator to be with you, whether it's in times of good or times of bad? But what are you doing to put yourself in a position where the next logical step is for something positive, is technically for something good to happen to you. All right. And then, one of the other verses that we unpacked, or sayings, is that, faith without works is dead. Right. You've heard that one before. Like, you can have faith, but if you don't do the work, it's dead. And that just goes back to, a person who just, it really just goes back to the whole toolbox that we just talked about. Like, just sitting there and saying, I want some money. I want some money. I want some money. Please send me some money. The creator, I want some money. Send me some money. I want to make some money. Like, it's like, okay. But even if I once heard it put like this. If you want a tree, the creator said, give me the hard part. I'll figure out the soil. I'll figure out the rain. I'll figure out how to make it grow. But all I need is somebody to plant the seed. That's it. That's the one part that I need help from you as a human to do. You plant the seed in the ground. Just plant it in the ground. I'll figure out the rest. I'll figure out the sunshine. I'll figure out the rain, the right climate for it to grow in, all of that. Now, can you imagine if you had the hard part of, like, how do you grow a tree? Right? Like, how do you grow a tree? But the creator said, don't worry about that. Don't worry about any of that. Just plant the seed. Okay? Can you do this simple act of obedience? Plant the seed. Can you just plant the seed? Okay. And so when you look at money, you look at wealth, and you look at the term faith without work is dead. When I hear that, I'm saying, I think of that just like, at least plant the seed, like, boop, do that little piece. And then let's see what happens. Give the hard part to the creator. Right. But can you at least plant the seed? Now, what does that have to do with the stock market? It's like just hoping hoping you learn about this stuff. It's not gonna happen by osmosis. I asked some questions on my on Instagram, and then I also asked on my personal Facebook, which we'll have to do a whole nother episode about that. But I asked people, what do they think about, or what do they feel when they think about the word investing, when they think about trading or investing in the stock market? I asked people, well, how do they feel? Comment below. And people said, I feel like it's confusing. I feel like it's I don't know what I'm doing. I feel scared. I feel disappointed that I'm in, just giving my money over to someone, but I don't know what they're picking or why, but I just know I should do it because I was told I should do it. I'm just contributing to my 401k blindly. I don't know what's really in it. And it made me think about like this whole faith without works is dead, meaning like, the stock market is not going to get less scary by you just sitting there and thinking like, it's just scary. I should invest, but it's scary. I should invest, but it's scary. It's like, it's not going to get less scary, but if you plant the seed, meaning what? You start listening to podcast episodes about money and investing. You start watching YouTube videos, or you go a step further and you take a course, or you go a step further, you join a program. Like that is the equivalent of planting the seed. Okay. And it's kind of, it's almost like, let us do the hard part. I'm not saying we're God by any means. Don't take that the wrong way. I know somebody on the internet gonna try to take this the wrong way. When I say let us do the hard part, like imagine you had to figure out what microphone to use, what recording software to use. How do I get myself uploaded into iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all these platforms to talk? Like all of that is quote unquote the hard part. All you got to do is tune in. All you got to do is pick up your phone, pick up your computer and log in and listen or watch. So it's like, let us do the hard part. And I want to say us, I'm just saying like, I'm using that as a metaphor to when I say let God do the hard part. He has to figure out how to grow a tree. You got the easy part. Just plant the seed, right? You might not even have to water because he's like, I'm going to send some rain down, but just plant the seed, right? Do the simple thing. We've already done a lot of the heavy lifting, podcasting, figuring out microphones, cameras, live streaming, putting courses together, memberships, structuring it, recording it, editing it. We've done the hard part. We just need some people to come along and plant their seed, right? And we're ready for them to grow. And what's the seed? The seed is, first of all, raising your hand saying, I don't know what I don't know, but I'm tired of living like that. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to get this information. All right. And then when you get the information, right, now you can plant the seed. You want to help it, go water it. If you don't water it, you could wait, see what the rain does, and then see how long it takes it to grow. But you can also take another step. You can go water it. All right. You could also go a step further and go fertilize the seed. Right. And so that's the same thing with the stock market and this information, and you trying to get over to whatever your version of #blessed is. It's like plant the seed, which is raise your hand, say, I don't know what I don't know. What do I need to know? What do I need to be listening to? What course do I need to take? What program do I need to be joining? Boom. That's planting the seed. Now, joining a program, a course, listen to a podcast. Then the next action is like, okay, does what they teach make sense to me? And if so, then if I'm going to follow it, I'm not going to do it my way. I'm not going to say, yeah, but I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to follow the instructions. God said, plant the seed. Okay. If you want to help me out, then water it. Okay. If you want to help me out some more, throw a little fertilizer down on there. Okay. All right. And so you could even go so far as God gave you the instructions and said, if you want this type of tree, it has to grow in this type of climate, right? It has to grow at this time of year. All right. And it's like the same thing with the stock market. It's like, okay, if you want these type of results, this is what you need to learn. If you want these results faster or a different type of results, these are the different type of accounts you need. This is the type of stocks you need to be looking at. This is the type of charts you need to be reading. And so if you want to help yourself a little bit faster, these are the additional things that you need to be doing. But the point is the blueprint has already been laid out how to grow a tree. The blueprint has already been laid out how to grow your bank account, how to get involved with the stock market. The barriers of entry have already been lowered, okay? And so all we need is what God needs. Someone with a little bit of faith, but not only faith, you need some work. You need to come and plant that seed. So you need to go, and hopefully I'm planting the seed in you today, planting the seed in your mind and say, you know what, you're right. What is my next step? I can't tell you how many people. It's funny. I look at our email list sometimes, for example, and let's say we got like 60,000 people on our email list. All right. Now we don't have 60,000 people in our program, but that's no different than college, right? I mean, you get a ton of people who graduate from high school, don't go to college. A ton of people go to college freshman year, or go on a scholarship or something like that. They drop out. They never make it to senior year, whatever the reason might be. Because it's like any funnel in life, right? The results get smaller and smaller as you go up. But my point is that I think about how many people are just on the fence, how many people who haven't got off the fence, or maybe they planted the seed and said, all right, I'm at least listen to this, join the email list, down the PDF. But how many people have never come back to that seed and put any water on it? They never came back to that seed and threw any fertilizer on it. They never came back to that seed and said, oh, I planted the seed in the winter. Let me try again in the summer. And if you equate that to life, like sometimes you get this information when you're busy. You just had a kid. You just got laid off. Your finances aren't right. Whatever the case may be, you might be planting the seed in a winter-like time in your life, but it's time to come back around. It's summer, baby. It's time to plant the seed again. It's time to check on it. It's time to water it. It's basically time to take your financial and stock market investment knowledge to the next level, because faith without work is dead, and just hoping, praying, and believing alone usually won't get you there. I won't say it won't never get you there, because some Christian or Buddhist or somebody go jump on him like, wait a minute, I prayed for 40 days and 40 nights and then I finally got my prayer answered. That's not what this is about, but good for you. But my point is, for most people, just sitting there praying, or just sitting there hoping, or just sitting there thinking, it's not gonna happen. One of my favorite sayings is that people say, like, one day I'm gonna learn this stuff, or someday. And my favorite saying is that one day is not on the calendar. Someday is not on the calendar. Monday's on there, Tuesday's on there, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's on there, even Saturday and Sunday's on there. And the numbers usually go anywhere from 1 to the 31st. Months go from January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I can tell you, I've never seen one day or someday. I've never even seen that month. I've never even seen that day. I've never even seen that time on a clock. All right. And so I want you to think about where you're going to draw the line in the sand and get off the faith train and get into the work train, right? Add a little bit of work to that faith so you can go after whatever your hashtag blessed is. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Thanks for rocking with me. I'm having fun being back in front of the microphone and talking to you guys. I love just sharing lessons in life. And if you got anything out of this episode, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, whether you're on the YouTubes, the iTunes, or whatever the case may be. If you're on our email list, I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.